Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, shop project day, and today the green bastard gets a new transmission. There we go. This is my 1969 Chevy C10 with the 454. She's hard on transmissions, but we got a nice 1,000 horsepower rated turbo 400 picked up in a bit of a traded a customer for some labor. This one came out of a 70 CUDA, I think it was, with the 512 stroker that was running 9s in the quarter. It should hold up really well for the old green bastard. Probably too high of a stall, but we'll find out. Let's see if it'll move. Runs great. That is in reverse. She's going. She's a little cold-blooded. This is normal. Hey, she's moving. She does not want to go up the ramp. May need to get some tow assistance. Yeah, it's just rolling backwards. Gonna have to tow it. Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Hey, made it in. There we go, we're off to a good start. Oh, it just went into like, it just changed gears. Real easy transmission to pull. 1/2 inch, 9/16, 3/8. You can get you the whole thing. That's what I love about these old trucks. Boom. So here's a little preview of the green bug. Whoa! Heads up. QA1 coilovers. Got 373s on a locker. Still the stock drive shaft, and a little mildly built turbo 350 that leaks like a mother. What's that? There it is. It's my girl, the green bastard. Let's get tearing this out. Making pretty good time here. Cross member's loose, drive shaft's out. Phil's got the torque converter loose. The trans is still good. Torque converter, you can already hear the carnage. Out with the old, in with the new. Trans is out, ready for the next one here, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. That sounds like some needle bearings rolling around. Sounds a little bit like a pinball machine when you roll it. Little something's falling down throughout it. That torque converter's done. I'm gonna have the trans rebuilt. Trans is actually probably still pretty good, but we got a 75 Corvette frame out there. We've got a 350 block over here, and then we've got a turbo 350, a little stage 2 build. Put something on top of that Corvette frame with the 350 combo and have a lot of fun. Got all the parts already. They're free at this point. We don't know what. Might be the Kaiser. I'm still kind of, I don't know. I kind of feel like we should build a race car. But yep, it's out. Phil's disconnecting the cooler lines. and then we'll bring the 400 over and start getting that mounted up. Put on the cooler, we got a Durali, wire that in, plumb that in. It's got a trans brake, so we're gonna have to mount the shifter, trans brake wiring in, gotta get a drive shaft. Fortunately, it's not gonna run today. Pretty excited here. This trans brake launch with the built big block ought to be a whole lot of fun. And hopefully we don't find the weak point in the drivetrain. Little update on the green booger, or the green bastard, whichever one you prefer. New tranny is in, went off without a hitch. As you would expect, going from turbo 350, turbo 400. Not much of a swap. I mean, there's some length differences and everything. Torque converter is bolted up. The linkage is good. Yeah, you guys can't see nothing in here. This is just hooked to the column right now. Still needs some adjustment. There we go. We need to put on our big boy here. This thing has a Hughes torque converter in it, and it's a 9-inch torque converter. All we know about it is that Hughes generally only goes as low as like 3,600 stall on those smaller converters. I think that's as low as you can get them. So we're assuming this is a pretty high stall. Guy that we got the transmission from said that he had sent the torque converter back to Hughes and tried to have them rework it and make it as streetable as possible. And they said they did their best, but they're only able to bring that stall down so much in that smaller package. I sent an email off to Hughes asking him, I sent some numbers and stuff off of it to him, and I said, can I get some info on this thing? We'll see. Being a high stall torque converter, it's gonna generate a little extra heat when you're kind of cruising around, not really fully engaged. And so we had to go with the big boy, the Durali Hyper Cool. We're gonna mount this thing up right now, and then that's pretty much gonna put us at a holding point, and then we're gonna measure for the drive shaft, get all of that, and hopefully the next time you guys see this, cooler lines have been ran, it's been wired in, the shifter will be adjusted, we'll have a cross member, a bushing, and a drive shaft for this thing, and we'll be ready to go drop some 3,500 RPM trans brake launches on the old green bastard. This thing should be rowdy. At about 3,500 RPM, this thing should be making over 600 pound-feet of torque at the crank. Gonna be fun. All right, it's round 2, the green booger project. The green bastard goes by a few different names. Greenie. I like the green bastard personally. Got news from the drive shaft company yesterday. The drive shaft is done. Did not have time to get down there and pick it up before they close. So the goal of today is, let's get everything but that done. So we're gonna get the transmission cross member put in. We're gonna plumb the trans cooler, wire the new fans, probably wire in the trans brake, waiting ready. So when that drive shaft gets picked up, we just put it straight in and we can go right to test driving this thing. I thought I was gonna be going with a one-piece drive shaft. Drive shaft guy told me I can't make you a one-piece drive shaft that will fit that hoop there, you know, through here, because of the length of it. He knows his stuff, but he said basically in order to have that length, I'd have to go with a 5-inch drive shaft, and he says that's not a bad thing, but I don't think it's gonna fit through that hoop, and so I would have to cut it out. But I've got the QA1 suspension that mounts right here, so I would have probably had to open this up, but then he said we can just do a 2-piece with a billet aluminum carrier bearing. It'll be more than strong enough for your needs, I guarantee it. And I said, okay, sounds good to me. Adds a little extra cost, you know. It is what it is, and we'll have a nice new carrier bearing, 2-piece drive shaft. I believe it's gonna be 3-inch diameter. Got the trans cooler mounted. There it is. So that's where it's gonna sit. We've got AN lines already on here. Put some 90-degree fittings on here. And then we got to wire in this fan, and then this is a neat little temp switch here. And I don't think you have to wire in the temp switch. I can just wire that fan always hot. It doesn't get really cold enough here in Texas to worry about the trans not getting up to temperature, especially with the high stall torque converter. We're going to be way more concerned with overheating than ever not getting up to temp. Still on the fence, I may not wire that in. I'm not sure. I may just wire that fan always on. We're not in the Midwest here. We don't got to worry about our fluids not getting up to temp. It's the opposite. We fight the heat. This one's kind of not a personal project. We gotta get this ready for the car show. I've been saying every time I have to change the trans pan gasket on this thing or something, I'm always like, I'm gonna get a tubular cross member or I'm gonna build one. I definitely needed to now because this transmission is totally different. It wasn't gonna line up. I'm gonna make a tubular cross member, and then I'm like, well, let me see how much they cost. $70 from Amazon. Super stout, $70. painted, welded, and it looks like it's gonna drop straight in. And I got myself a new bushing here. I think these things are like $8. The most expensive part about today's project was the dipstick. That thing was $80 to get a Turbo 400 dipstick that will actually fit. 1,200 bucks for a transmission and torque converter.
We're filming.
All right, lock it up. And 1,200 bucks for the 2-piece drive shaft with the billet aluminum carrier bearing. We usually get drive shafts for that from our guy for about $550. With the 2-piece, there's a lot more labor involved and stuff. And it's still got the telescoping, you know, tail section. But I mean, we're looking at about 2,700 bucks to get a transmission that, you know, has the horsepower rating, torque converter, trans brake, oh, and then a couple $100 bucks for the radiator. So you're looking at about $3 grand for this whole trans swap thing, which I think is really good. Obviously, the trans is probably worth quite a bit more if you were to buy it new. The torque converter, the nice used torque converter, it's already got the reverse manual valve body and a trans brake, so that keeps kind of adding up to it. But for the old shop truck, this thing's coming in. You guys were asking me how much do you have into this truck total. I bought the truck for $2,500. I built the big block in 2014. I think machine work and all of the parts that I bought from the machine shop, so all your bearings, valves, cam, lifters, everything, spent 3,800 bucks. So I needed to buy the intake, the fuel injection system, but I'm into this truck well under 20 grand with full QA1, and that's mainly just because doing all the work ourselves, I trade parts around with people, you know, or I'll sell the parts that come off. This truck's a bad rig for 20,000 bucks, I think, you know, and it's spread out over the last 11 years so that I've owned it. Can't be sad about that. Transmission cross member, actually really happy with that. I mean, it went straight in, no modifications, everything lined up. Anybody who's ever done the cross member on one of these C10s know that you always got to get a screwdriver and kind of pry them around, put a bolt in, get it snug but not tight, and then put, you know, manipulate it around, get it in. This freaking thing drops straight in. You gotta be pretty happy with that. It's $70. Like, that blows me away. I was like, I mean, I could make this thing, but it probably would have taken me 2 hours. $70 is not worth 2 hours of my time. Boom. We're gonna plumb this bad boy and then wire it. And then we're gonna wire the trans brake. And I'm not sure where I wanna put the trans brake yet. This is why I hate air tools. The electrics have spoiled us. Hard to film around here when somebody decides to use an air tool.
Dash 690s, yeah. You got 4 in there?
Yeah.
Look at all this. Got 4? All right, let's go mock them up.
Definitely got all the hose in the world over here.
Oh, look at this. Little
Sharp. That's going in this guy. Little patina restoration. Yeah, that PTFE, it's always a struggle, but it's the proper thing to use.
You got any tips for them, Brad?
Buy the right tools. I like the nylon better than the stainless because you don't just get a million little pokes in your fingers from it. What we have today and what's here, so that's what I'm using. These things help a lot. These little vice jaws, ratcheting cutters to cut it, putting a little heat shrink over when you can. There's not a lot to it. It's just kind of like if you make one mistake, you're gonna end up having to cut and restart over. So that's why I've still got the other end open here in case I needed to keep coming back a little bit. Got to shake a little dust off. It's been a little while since I've done PTFE.
All right, Brady, your first PTFE line?
Yep.
It's getting on there pretty good. Yeah. What the hell was that? Is that the fitting?
Yeah.
The hand lines. There. And there. Looking pretty good.
Snug it up.
I'm running. Run side by side. Right up there.
And if it leaks, you can add a little more. Yeah, man, looks killer. We'll throw some P-clamps on here later. Fire up the trans brake and the fan.
You're gonna hurt the paint, man. Come on.
take this power wire, co-located with the fuel pump ground, and then I'm running my power wire up. Everything's just loose right now. I like to leave everything loose, kind of eyeball some extra length, and then when I finish, I come back through and kind of pull it all tight and zip tie it, clean it up, put electrical tape around it, or cloth tape, like loom tape around it to protect it. But we're gonna do some more cleanup in this area here. I was gonna run a separate relay, but I don't think this thing's got enough power. I don't think it needs to have its own relay, so I'm just gonna wire it straight to a Keon 12-volt source. Probably just throw an inline fuse or something, be done with it, and then pretty much just be waiting on the drive shaft at that point. Excited, throwing the old tires back on and then go out there and do a burnout, make some smoke. Drive shaft's back from the drive shaft shop. I had to go with a 2-piece. The guy told me a bunch of stuff about drive shafts, said it's way too long. I'd have to go with a 5-inch diameter drive shaft, and then it wouldn't fit through here. Can't really modify this too much. I mean, I could have. I'm also mounting suspension here, so I wanted to be careful of that. But here it is. Got the billet carrier bearing. Pretty nice shaft. Fits up pretty good. Drive shaft is in. Trans brake's still not wired up, but I gotta get this thing off the lift so we can pull another car in. Shifter linkage not dialed in, but it feels like it's going through all the gears. Probably gonna need to be topped off on fluid too. Drive shaft works. I gotta check the fluids, make sure it's all topped off. And so far so good. I mean, I had that shifter linkage set up in about 3 minutes, so I don't have high hopes for it, you know, but it seems to be working.
Is it trans brake?
No, no trans brake yet. I don't know whose idea it was to give me that, dude, but you know, acting a damn fool out there. You just flash that converter and it just freaking flies right to 4,500 RPM before it starts grabbing, and it's just, you guys hear me coming?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it barks now. You just hit that throttle, that thing will just bark, dude. I mean, it's not that much go. I mean, it's obviously, you know.
Yeah, when you have the transfer, they'll pull it up and pop it.
It's gonna be, yeah. I went out in front of the house and I revved it a few times till the kids came out, and then I did 1, 2, 3 burnout. Oh, I forgot I got my good tires on here. I gotta not